Roger Stone here. Your dollars are losing ground, but gold isn't. American Sovereign Bullion helps you protect your wealth through real, tangible assets. Through their nationwide wholesaler network, you get some of the best pricing on gold and silver delivered straight to your door. Since 1912, the U.S. dollar has lost 97% of its purchasing power. Meanwhile, gold continues to prove its strength. So call 844-272-2428. That's 844-272-2428. Or visit dyingdollar.com to request your free gold and silver guide. That's dyingdollar.com.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Taxi!
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
The full court press is on the air. Now, here's Sean Spicer.
Welcome back. You're listening to Full Court Press. I'm your host, Sean Spicer, here on WABC. I'm excited to finally flip the tables. I've gone on my buddy Joe Concha show before. Now, being a full-fledged member, I still haven't gotten the hat or the tracksuit from John Catsimatidis, but I feel like I now get to bring we get a tracksuit, don't we? I thought it was like a velour tracksuit that says WABC on it, but I want to bring in the guy who's coming up after this, Joe Concha. Joe, good Sunday morning. Thanks for joining me finally.
Yeah, payback's a female dog, so I'll go easy on me, Spicer.
Oh, well, we're in your wheelhouse today. I got to tell you, I've watched some of your stuff on this CBS Scott Pelley thing. You've covered the media for a long time.
Yeah.
I don't think you actually need to cover the media. Just you need to cover like having a job to think to yourself, have you ever seen a situation where the employee tells the boss that they're horrible and expects to keep their job the way that Scott Pelley told his new boss at CBS that they were horrible?
Yeah, it made it worse. He said, you're murdering 60 Minutes, and then said, you're not even qualified for this job. And the thing about this was, no one can be an adult anymore. So Pelley was invited by, the guy's name's Nick Bilton. He's the new executive producer of 60 Minutes. And he's done a ton of investigative journalism. Now, has he done it on TV? No, but investigative journalism is investigative journalism, right? So in this case, Bilton reached out to Pelley a few weeks ago and said, hey, why don't we grab dinner and let's talk about the direction of 60 Minutes. And Pelley rejected the invitation, like the pompous, arrogant ass that he is. He wanted to wait for this meeting in front of all of these 60 Minutes employees to undress his new boss. And then I got to watch Jimmy Kimmel last night. I got to hear Brian Stelter. I got to hear all these people defending Pelley. This is indefensible because, to your point, everybody out there listening right now, your next staff meeting, go in and tell the boss that he's murdering the company. And, oh, by the way, he doesn't know what he's doing. He shouldn't even be there. And you see what happens to you. So this almost felt like suicide by cop, right? In other words, where people want to get killed by the cop. I think Pelley in the end wanted to be a martyr so he could join his friends Terry Moran and Chuck Todd and Don Lemon and Jim Acosta in doing a nice little podcast from a kitchen talking about how horrible Trump is. I think that he wanted out, and this is his way to go out with a blaze of glory where everybody paints him as a hero, when really he's been one of the more partisan correspondents you will ever see. I've been watching some clips today and sharing it on social media, and it's just he's Matt Al with gray hair. That's basically the conclusion I can come to.
I'm going to get to Matt Al in just a second. But here's what I found fascinating. The line from this guy, Nick Bilton, the new EP, he sends a letter that I think you and others have put out, and it says, I meant it earlier, like exactly what you said. I wanted to meet with you. You didn't want to. Yesterday, you hijacked my first meeting with staff to disparage me, my qualifications, and my intentions with remarkable incivility and contempt. Welcome, diverse, blah, 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 blah. But here's the thing that's interesting. Your antipathy to the future of the show has come through loud and clear, and I have heard you. I therefore write on behalf of CBS News to inform you that your employment with CBS is terminated for cause effective immediately. Joe Concha, writing effective for cause is saying you're not getting paid out for your contract. So all these other folks that have been fired have a contract. You get put on a shelf, but you still get paid. They're making it clear to Pelley. This is what I don't get, and maybe it's just because he really is that nuts. You could have gone to Nick Bilton and said, hey, Nick, I don't think you're the guy. I've been doing this for 37 years. This isn't my style. Could we find an amicable parting of the ways? And they would have said, you know what, Scott, why don't you work on some projects and go to pasture? And yet he just cut off. I mean, I'm sure that guy makes a few $1 million, right?
Yeah, probably 5-6 million from what I've read.
Yeah, 5-6 million. I don't know about you, Joe Concha, but I'm telling you right now, if I get into a fight with my boss and I have an option of getting paid out for the 5-6 million or getting nothing, I'll take the 5-6 million.
Which tells us, Sean, that maybe he was operating on emotion only and didn't really think this through too well.
Do you think like his wife's like, I don't know, maybe he's married. I assume he's married. Maybe that's, who knows these days.
We have no idea. Probably.
I mean, I think she's got, hey, Scott, what are you doing? We got a beach house that you need to pay for. But here's the thing this is the other line that I want you, this is from Scott Pelley's sanctimonious, arrogant little letter that he sent out. This is the line that got me. When stewardship of the program, that meaning 60 Minutes, passed to my colleagues and me, our responsibility was to expand energetically into a new age of media technology while preserving the values our audience expects. The part of that line that I wanted to concentrate on is when the stewardship of the program passed to my colleagues and me. Well, I didn't know that had happened. Scott Pelley is an employee. Who passed it to him? I didn't know that he got a pass. This isn't like dinner. It's pass the butter. Can you give me the stewardship of 60 Minutes? When did that happen, Joe Concha?
I think he thinks it happened when he witnessed what happened at CNN, Sean, and an MSNBC. I'll give you 2 quick examples. CNN, Chris Licht comes in, and he has a mission statement to say, okay, you're going to bring CNN back to the center. We're going to have more Republicans on. And what's one of the first things that Licht does? He gives candidate Donald Trump in 2023 a town hall, where he's done town halls on there before. He's the leading candidate for the nomination by a country mile. He's going to rate well. Of course you have him on. It's a no-brainer. And suddenly a mutiny happens at CNN to the point where Trump does the town hall. Anderson Cooper goes on the air the following night and says, I don't blame you. If you never watch this network again, what you saw last night was disturbing. I would have fired him on the spot. I swear to God, you're telling our viewers not to watch? It's a business, dude. And and he got away with it. And then Jake Tapper, Stelter, Oliver Darcy, all these people just completely poured it on with Licht. He was gone a couple of weeks later. So the inmates won. And then MSNBC, same thing. They hire Ronna McDaniel, one Trump supporter, one Trump pro voice. They don't have any on that network. And then Rachel Maddow goes on the air and says, I wasn't informed about this decision. I hope that management reverses it.
Welker too, right? Kirsten Welker. She said, no one consulted me, like as if, who said that you got to get a vote here?
Consulted, exactly. Mika and Joe, we will never have her on. You have to reverse this. On the air, they say this. Not even like in a staff meeting. That's worse. And sure enough, Ronna McDaniel was gone within 24 hours, so the inmates won again. So I think Pelley saw that and said, oh, all right, I have the power. Not this new EP, not Barry White.
So you don't think
they stood up.
I think So I thought he was intentionally kamikazing this. Do you actually think he thought he could win this battle and that they would maybe fire the new EP, or they'd say, "Oh, Scott, you're right. These guys do suck. You're the smart." I mean, I thought he intentionally was driving the truck into the wall. But you're thinking that he thought he might win this battle?
Sean, I go back and forth. I can't come down on a definitive answer. It's either suicide by cop, right? Like I said before. Or he really thought he would win. He really thought he was that self-important that people tune into 60 Minutes because of Scott friggin' Pelley. I'm sorry. It's like Alabama football, all right? You could replace the correspondents. They come and go, and it's still a top 10 show. It's partly a top 10 show because, hey, for 5 months out of the year, they get an NFL lead-in. And, yeah, when you have that leftover 30, 40 million coming, you're going to have great ratings. So, yeah, I think everybody is not indispensable in this business. There isn't one person. I mean, over at Fox, I'll say Tucker Carlson was seen to be indispensable and, gone, right? And he was replaced by Jesse Waters. Now Jesse actually has better ratings than he does. Anybody can be replaced at any time. That we do know.
Except Sean Spicer and Joe Concha on WABC.
Right.
All right, so let me start with the first question. Sharon Alfonsi, Cecilia Vega, now Scott Pelley out at CBS. Mm-hmm. I think there's some other names, whether it's Major Garrett or Margaret Brennan, that would probably be on that list. Is there anyone else that you think is out at CBS?
Oh boy. I mean, I think Margaret Brennan's probably at the top of the list because again, he is part of that, the whole predisposition of anybody who's independent or on the right, especially Trump supporters, will not tune in to Face the Nation because Margaret Brennan has proven herself over and over again to be a partisan hack. Major Garrett, I think, is a little bit more milquetoast, kind of benign. I could see him surviving. Maybe he isn't as expensive to keep around. Nora O'Donnell, maybe, but maybe she plays by the rules, right? But remember that VP debate with J.D. Vance and Tim Walz, where she cut off J.D. Vance's microphone because he was actually fact-checking her fact-check and was getting it right and then shut down the mic. So, yeah, I think they just want to go back to not being painted as partisan. The problem is everybody on the left, especially media reporters, are now saying that it's basically CBS is now, they want to be Fox, so they're going hard to the right. No, I don't see that.
There's no evidence to that. There's no evidence. I mean, Tony DeCopel, the CBS evening guy who's further to the left than Scott Pelley, he went on air. I mean, like, there's no evidence that any of this has to do with their coverage. In fact, okay. All right. So next question.
Yes.
The next acquisition for Paramount is ultimately Warner Brothers, i.e. CNN. Mm-hmm. Are they on the chopping block? So is it Jake Tapper, Wolf Blitzer, Brian Stelter? Are they back on the chopping block again?
I would think so. I mean, again, I have to know the contracts. Like, they are business.
Why? They didn't care about the contracts at CBS. Those guys are getting fired and told, we'll just put you on the bench and pay you out. Cecilia Vega said in her statement, I have a contract, and they said you're fired. I mean, assume they're going to pay her out, but she's just not.
Yeah. I'm sorry I cut you off. Cecilia Vega, you remember her from probably your press briefings. I mean,
I do.
She was with ABC at the time, and just, again, Mary Bruce, like, in another kind of, pantsuit, basically. But, if we were to just take contracts aside, I would think, look, if I'm looking at Tapper and I'm looking at his ratings at 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock, where he's getting beat by our show on Fox, I don't know, 6 times over, maybe it's time. And by the way, again, I remember Tapper when Biden won in 2020, and he goes on to Twitter and then says, bye, Felicia, and tweets it at Kayleigh McEnany. Like, who does that? Like, you're not objective.
Do you think is there any scenario where he ends up back at his former employer and is repping for Hooters again? Because I know they're going through a whole remake. You think he maybe goes back into PR and reps Hooters again? I think that's always.
Well, it's always been my dream job, but Hooters actually, I think, went out of business. I mean,
no, they're going through a whole remake right now. Which maybe they could use his PR skills again. But okay. And then I saw you on Fox the other night talking about Rachel Maddow potentially making the case for Scott Pelley going to MS Now is that just her uttering things, or is that real?
That's Rachel Maddow thinks she runs the network. And the reason why is for what we talked about before. She literally got Ronna McDaniel fired because she didn't want a pro-Trump voice on her network. So, if she declares that on the air, well, that means that, we got to keep Rachel happy. I mean, she does work one night a week for $25 million. Let's make sure. I mean, again, she went
from 5
nights a week to 1. 5 nights a week to 1 and basically kept her salary. These are the stupidest people I can imagine. You cut it by 4/5. If I'm doing my fractions, my kid's doing fractions now. Yeah, 4/5. But they pay her that. So,
these guys, what's funny? These guys, we saw this with Colbert. They have these massively bloated budgets and staffs. I just think they live in an alternative world where they don't have to. Market forces and capitalism doesn't exist in their world. I mean, they're like, I don't care. I lose $15 million. I have 200 people on staff. Like, so what? Like, I get such a kick out of this. All right, let me shift gears, because earlier this week, the White House Correspondents Association announced that the dinner is going to be rescheduled for July 24th at the Waldorf Astoria, which, by the way, happens to be the old Trump Hotel.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, that's the Trump Hotel. Do you think that, like, I don't know why people are going. Like, I don't know. Just in your mind, is this thing legit?
It hasn't been for years, Sean. I know that.
No. But I mean, like, do people go this time? Like, there's always parties and a bunch of Hollywood elites flying. Is that what you think is going to happen?
Yeah, I think that in the end, Woodward and Bernstein kind of introduced this whole aspect of journalism where you get a celebrity aspect to it now, right? So they get the movie with Redford and Dustin Hoffman and all the President's Men, and then suddenly they're on Carson. And now all these journalists, they love nothing more. They don't want Peabodys, and they don't want Emmys, and they don't want Pulitzers. They want an invite to Kimmel and formerly Colbert. They want the celebrity part. So they like getting dressed up. They like the red carpet. They like to feel like celebrities. So, I think enough will go. But I liked what they were doing this year, at least where they hired Dr. Oz, who I think he's a doctor, but Oz is
no. Oz the mentalist. Dr. Oz is the CMS administrator. Oz the mentalist is the guy who reads people's minds. He's awesome. Yes. I love him. I got to see him
You did. Has he ever performed for you individually?
I went to a private event with him right before the dinner. The day before the dinner, I went to lunch with him. It's mind-blowing what that guy can do. I actually agree with you. I think that's funny. He's entertaining. That's not like the idea of having some left-wing journalist. Joe, before I will say the other thing that got a lot of attention this week, these guys, we talked about Margaret Brennan going on there and embarrassing her. Marco Rubio and Scott Bessent were on the Hill. Let me play this first clip with you. This is I want to play just a minute of this. This is Marco Rubio with Congresswoman Sarah Jacobs at the Foreign Affairs Committee. Take a listen to this.
Okay.
Why is she leaving? I'm going to answer her questions.
I will.
Oh, she's going. Okay, I got it. Well, thank you for coming.
I mean, look, he over and over again, Joe, he went up there and just had fun with these members. And then here's the kicker. I want to play this one more for you. This is Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary. He goes up on the Hill. Ron Wyden, the senator from Oregon, tries to score points. Let me play the exchange with you because I thought this was just Bessent on fire. It was like almost Bessent on Margaret Brennan. Take a listen.
Nobody is interested in the ramblings of a capo in the most corrupt regime in American history. We want to get some facts about this deal. That's what we're here for. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And I will ask my questions first today.
And we would like to hear what Adam Wyden and Jeffrey Epstein talked about. Your son's largest investment position was Rick's Cabaret. So did your son and Jeffrey Epstein talk about pole dancing as he begged him for money using your limited credibility?
Oh.
Now, Joe Concha, just in case you didn't know this, because I'm sure you don't.
Yes.
Sure you don't. Rick's Cabaret, through my research, is apparently a gentleman's club.
Oh, I thought it was in, was it Casablanca?
No.
Named after that.
Sorry. It's kind of like that app that Graham Plattner uses that I didn't know about either. I had to use the crack.
Kick, yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, I didn't know what that was, but I've heard through the research. But the point is that here comes Bessent, and Wyden's trying to take him out, like, blah, blah, blah. And then Bessent just comes full loaded like Rubio did. It was a drop the mic moment.
They're prepared, right? Bessent and he's incredibly smart. They know who is going to be questioning him, and they say, "Oh, by the way, let's throw this back at you," which is such an effective tool. And Rubio, I mean, that was a masterclass. I think. Honestly, Sean, if J.D. Vance doesn't run, I don't see how Marco Rubio gets beat because he is unflappable. He has a confidence that he did not have in 2016, and he has a sense of humor and authenticity. You combine those four things, and the guy is also incredibly whip smart, obviously has the resume, and the way he just threw back at these senators and Congress people saying, is this a clown show? Or at one point he said, where's the dunk tank? I mean, it's just funny stuff. And again, he could be serious until he doesn't have to be. He owned those hearings, as did Bessent, as did Mark Wayne Mullen, who literally was called a racist by Al Green. And Mark Wayne Mullen's like, wait a minute, I'm Cherokee Indian. What are you talking about? Right? I mean, they look like children, Democrats do. And those three people I just mentioned look like the statesmen and the adults in the room. Mm-hmm.
It was literally a masterclass. I'm with you on this, by the way. I think that if JD doesn't run, it's Rubio's, and this is the key thing. I think people have to understand. If Rubio, he made it clear in that hearing. Hey, look, I'm the Secretary of State. I don't engage in political activity, so I can't do anything now. But Vance, I actually love what Trump's been saying. I think if they were a ticket, it would be unstoppable. I mean, Vance Rubio, I think it's unstoppable.
I do. I just think that Rubio would be more unstoppable. Of course, JD is not going to take the second position, but I look at Vance and, as somebody who has young children, Ushas has a baby on the way. It's number 4. He's only 41 years old. He could still take a position in a Rubio administration, some high-ranking one like Secretary of State, and then still stay on the radar. And maybe in 10 years when his kids are older and he got to experience all those things that you don't get back, then he still has like a 30-year runway when you compare it to the last two presidents that we had. So maybe he sits this one out, or maybe he realizes that Rubio would be not as polarizing a candidate as JD. For whatever reason, I compared this Marco Rubio to on Bill Helmer and Jackie Heinrich's show today. I said, you know what? Rubio is like Floyd Mayweather Jr., 50-0, right? Never lost, and not because he had punching power, because you couldn't touch him. You couldn't lay a hand on him. A glove, that's Rubio. You can't lay a hand on this guy.
Yeah, it's true. I just get more and more impressed. He is, as you said, he's funny. He's knowledgeable. He can pivot. I love it. And I agree with your assessment. I think if JD says, "Hey, I got a fourth kid coming. I'm 41, 42 years old. Let me kind of let a cycle or two go by. I'll still have my star power." I mean, I don't know. If he wants to run, it's his. If he doesn't, that makes sense too. He's got plenty of time. Joe Concha, I thank you for being with us. We got this warmed up for you to be here in just a little bit. I got one more little block after this break, and then it's yours. Thank you guys for being here. I'm going to come back and talk about Graham Plattner in just a second. You're listening to Full Court Press. I'm your host, Sean Spicer, here on WABC. We'll be right back.
This is Full Court Press with Sean Spicer on 77 WABC.